Welcome into the Landon Tengwall Show. This is the Ohio State offensive film preview. This is where I show you guys the film and show you really everything to expect from Ohio State's offense this coming Saturday. We're going to take a look at Julian Sayin, Ohio State's quarterback, what makes him one of the best quarterbacks in all of college football, and how in the world does he have an 80% completion rate? That is borderline unheard of. And then we're going to get into the Ohio State offensive line and look at some of the ups and downs that they have had the past few weeks. If you guys are enjoying the content, please hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel. And today's show is brought to you by West Shore Home. West Shore Home is a home remodeling company, and their owner, BJ Wurzen, has been an integral part of jumpstarting Penn State NIL. He's been in it from the beginning, always supporting, and obviously West Shore Home Field at Beaver Stadium, injecting a ton of money into the Penn State community. So we appreciate them. Make sure you guys check them out. Link is in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into the tape. One of the biggest pieces of this Ohio State offense is the RPO game, the run-pass option. You're going to see a ton of it, and so what you have here is you can hand off this inside zone, or Sayin is out here looking at Jeremiah Smith on this speed out. Now, what I want you to watch here, and this is what Sayin's eyes are looking at, is this DB. His hips are square to the line of scrimmage. Now, as soon as this ball snaps, boom, he turns and starts to get going because Smith always does a great job of pressing everything right at these DBs, threatening them vertical over the top. So what Sayin sees is a DB that's hips are completely turned. He's even in a crossover, so it's really difficult for him to get his hips back and then out to work on this outbreaking route. So Sayin sees that, and he even throws it before Smith is really fully in his break. But you see this DB has to fully stop, completely flip his hips out, and it's too late. Sayin is incredibly accurate and puts it right where Smith needs it. Continue on, first down there. Now you're going to see a ton of this. Anytime you get off coverage and they're running RPO, Sayin almost always takes it, especially if it's to Smith. So what you see here is you have about 5 yards off, so Sayin might already like this, but you're going to watch this DB as soon as the snap happens, see him going back, and now we have maybe about 8 yards of separation here. Sayin, anytime he sees that and the DB is going straight back, Sayin's eyes, you see his eyes, he's looking right out here at this, and he goes, all right, boom, I'm going to pull it. Quick hitch by Smith here, and I just want to say once again, he does a fantastic job. If you watch this, Smith, just attacking these DBs, like I said, when he makes everything at wide receiver look like it's going to be a streak and then snap it off, boom, get the football and go get yards, get a first down. That's what I said. I mean, they stay ahead of these sticks all the time. Not only just to Jeremiah Smith, but to Carnell Tate too. So you're going to get the same thing. Watch this DB, watch his hips. As soon as he flips, and now he's completely square to the sideline. Once again, hard for him to turn around and battle any type of quick out. Sayin is looking right at that, pulls it, and honestly, not even this DB is honestly in okay position, but Sayin just places it so perfectly every single time. It doesn't get better than that. He has so much trust in this RPO game, and he's able to just deliver some confident footballs. Now, let's talk about other ways that they get this RPO game going. So now you're going to be pulling two linemen. So we're running counter here, running this here, but you're going to bring this tight end across in what we call split flow motion. And this is just perfectly schemed up by Day and Hartline because you have a blocker here and then you have an extra blocker here. So Sayin is looking at this defensive end, this guy right here. If this defensive end crashes down in like he does, Sayin's going to pull it and dump it off to the tight end. So this guy crashes down. He doesn't give it off to the running back, pulls it out. You get it to your tight end in the flat. You got some great blocking. So, I mean, these are reasons why Julian Sayin started this game off with 10 straight completions and why he has an 80% completion rate, which is borderline unheard of. It's these easy plays, and now it was first 10. Now you're going to be sitting at 2nd and 5. They stay ahead of the sticks, and that's some of the best stuff of this Ohio State offense is they're incredibly consistent and on time as far as the yardage. So now, once again, it's going to be an RPO. This time it's going to be an outside zone. And he's getting something really simple here. This is going to be a curl to flat read. So you're getting basically a curl right here from Smith, and you're getting into the flats over here, right? So basically what Sayin is reading is he's reading this flat defender. If he takes off down here on this flat route, okay, then I'm going to go ahead and hit the curl right here. But if he stays back, I'm going to then go ahead and I'm going to throw it out to the flats. So follows it a little bit. You see this DB starts to kind of fall out. and he sees it. He goes, all right, my guy's coming wide open. Boom, get it to him, get yards, first down. Now, I was showing you guys the scheme and how safe Sayin is, but this dude is a ball player, and there's a reason he's regarded as one of the best quarterbacks in America. This ball placement here to Carnell Tate. So he's going to start to get some pressure in his face. His footwork and ability to just navigate the pocket. All right, I'm going to come out here. I'm going to come set up. Look at, like I said, the footwork is always on point. He sees Tate running free, and you got cover 2 right here. So these are the 2 deep safeties, and then this is kind of the middle defender. He sees that Tate has a step on this, and he goes, I'm just going to let this fire. And like I said, he likes to be safe. He has a check down here, but this is what you're starting to see from Julian Sayin. He's starting to take some calculated risk when he has 2 of the best wide receivers in America. I'm going to put it up top. Ball placement does not get better than that. When you have a big old body wide receiver like Carnell Tate, that is the best place that you can put it. I mean, he is really starting to put this all together. Now, like I said, some more stuff that they will do to really just make it easier for Julian Sayin is we're going to go into rollout. So we're getting into this rollout game, and it's basically a 2-man read right here. And Julian Sayin, mechanics, dot to Carnell Tate here on the sideline. So let's go wide view. So what you're going to see is he's rolling out. This running back isn't even really in the receiving game, really. And so you're just going to get a deep corner here, and you're going to get a little bit of a curl here from Smith. So once again, making it easy for Sayin, and he's doing an incredible job with it, but he's just reading this defender right here. Is this defender going to come down on this curl route, or is he going to drift back on this corner route? That's all Sayin has to read, and he sees, as soon as Sayin sees that commit to this curl route, he knows he has Carnell Tate on this corner route, delivers a beautiful ball. Great job there from Julian Sayin. All right, next play here, and it is, like I said, 4th down. This guy is good for big moments, little moments, everything in between. Absolute dime to Carnell Tate. And he's got pressure in his face. We're gonna talk about the offensive line here in a second, but right tackle gets beat inside. Sayin does a great job. He looks here. You could hit this, but he doesn't like what he has front side. So now I'm going to work backside. I'm going to stay calm even with this pressure all up in my face. Look at that. A lot of guys would panic here, but keeps his great mechanics, great base, arm angles, gets through, fires one. I mean, just a beautiful ball here to Carnell Tate. Once again, helps when you have elite wide receivers, but this ball placement by Sayin is just great stuff. Now, 2nd and 3 here, just making stuff happen. Like that's part of his game on the run. Never loses his mechanics. Puts it right where Jeremiah Smith needs it. It was great coverage by the DB, but you just see him so confidently go through his reads, gets pretty good protection here, goes through 1, 2, like I said, likes to take his check down, but doesn't always take it. Sees, looks back, starts to feel that pressure. Okay, time is out. Clock in your head is out. I got to start to roll out because this guy's going to be on me. So I'm going to move, but keep my eyes down the field while I'm moving. While that's all happening, Jeremiah Smith is rerouting. I'm going to shed one right there, get my hip square, fire one. And once again, the ball placement doesn't get much better than that. It's a great play by the DB to jam it out, but that's called giving your wide receivers a chance. Now, this last piece, Carnell Tate, when you have dudes, like I said, he will just take opportunities. You get a fade here to Carnell Tate, back shoulder. I mean, it's like I said, this is the type of stuff Penn State's going to have to defend. As much as Sayin is safe and has a great completion rate, and they love that RPO, dump off game, they are going to give their superstars a chance, and the Penn State DBs have to be ready for these type of fades.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
All right, let's talk about some struggles in pass protection for Ohio State. And right tackle Daniels, he had 6 pressures allowed in this Wisconsin game. It was not a great day for him, and he really struggles with getting beat on this inside move. So watch him get into his kick set here. And what I want you to see is as soon as this defensive end goes to make this inside move, look at his feet here. They're completely together. He has lost his base. He's fully committed that this is going to be an outside rush. So he has nothing to work back inside. So just gets, like I said, he was still working outside, has a good punch, but this is not position you want to be in when you're getting an inside move from the defensive end. So kind of pulls him down a little bit, but this forces Sayin to then have to step up into pressure. And right now, if there was no pressure, Sayin could deliver this ball for a first down on third down, but he has to step up because of the pressure, steps into this, and it gets tipped, and you're not able to deliver an accurate football there. All right, one more time. Here we go. Daniels again here at right tackle, and he oversets this defensive end. He is way overset. You see how much more inside this defensive lineman is, and because the right guard here had to post down, there's such a big space here. He didn't need to jump out like this and then just gets completely beat inside. Sayin has to step up and unfortunately give up the sack here. And honestly, I think part of this is Daniels actually steps on his tight end, but that's part of it. He doesn't need to jump out like this. He should really just be upright setting, but he jumps out. And like I said, I showed you, kind of trips on his tight end there, so he doesn't have a base, but still overset. You got to keep leverage as an offensive tackle, and he is just giving this inside like it is free money, and this Wisconsin defensive line was taking it all day long. All right, one more time here. 3rd and 9. And really struggles, gets beat here, and Sayin is forced to get rid of it a little bit too quickly. So watch him right here. Once again, inside move. And so what I want you to see is this defensive lineman is going to come into him and work a spin move back inside. And so right here, the problem is that when Daniels goes to basically post down, instead of just moving his feet, watch this up foot. It completely drops. Watch. Completely drops that left foot, and you're just giving a free path to Sayin. So he needs to continue to just post down, but he drops it, and it's such an easy path. Just like how you give an easy path kind of around the quarterback on the arc, you can also give an even worse path if you give him the inside like that. So just not moving his feet well enough, that has been a little bit of a problem. Now, his buddy at right guard, Tengwall, let's talk about this, gets beat on this one. Never do you want to see an offensive lineman in this position. His foot is kind of extended here and full lean on these arms. So anytime you're leaned out like this, defensive linemen are going to feel that. They're going to swipe down and away and just get completely beat inside. Sayin has to get a couple yards, do whatever he can, but this is kind of the fundamentals of this, especially the right side of this offensive line is struggling. And like I said, anytime you're in that position, that is a full lean. You never want to be there because defensive linemen feel that, and they're like, all right, I'm going to hit a little rip, push, pull, and just get right past you. And now Sayin is trying to go through his reads, but he feels this pressure right in his face, has to get down and just find a way to get a couple yards there. And now let's talk a little bit more about this pass pro. So what you're getting here is you're getting man on here, man on here, man on here. And what you're going to see is they are going to run a tackle Mike stunt right here. So this is the penetrator. This is the loop man. And what you're going to see is Hinsman does not bump off Tengwall quick enough. So Tengwall, all he thinks is, I have this man until I don't have him. So I have him. And Hinsman is just a little too late to bump him off. And you see the position that Tengwall's in, no position to be able to get back and get off on this looper. So Hinsman has to be a lot quicker to bump him off. So you got this free, and Sayin, kind of evades him, but the pressure still gets to him. So just watching, it's kind of like a domino effect here, that as soon as Hinsman sees that, as soon as he sees a true loop, that this guy's going to loop around, he needs to open up and go just jam this thing and say, off, 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 and try to get Tengwall off over top of it. But Hinsman just takes way too long, and then finally, like I said, is able to touch this, and Tengwall's just way too late. He has no chance to get off on this, and boom, the blitz gets home, and Sayin's only able to get a few yards. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit of run game struggles for this Ohio State offensive line. And there was a couple big TFLs that Wisconsin got, so let's talk about it. So you're getting a combo block between the center and the right guard, and you're kind of going back to this linebacker. And so what I want you to watch is Hinsman just gets a little too just horizontal on this thing. Like, I'd like him to work a lot more vertical, so then Tengwall has time to get into this, and then they can work back to the linebacker. But if you watch what happens at the snap, look at Hinsman, how he's really moving to the side and kind of avoids this. So he kind of leaves Tengwall out to dry, and there's no reason to, because a lot of times you need to think about leverage and where you're trying to go. We need to get back to this linebacker. So it's not like the left guard, the center has to run and get up on this. All he's trying to do is get back to this. So get vertical into this thing with Tegra, work on it, secure the down lineman, and then get up to the linebacker. So I think he kind of leaves him out to dry, and it puts Tegra in a bad place. Tegra needs to get going, but he doesn't do him any favors. And then front side, look at Max Clare here, kind of gets into a big-time crossover. I mean, you can't even see his front foot. That's not a great base to be in. So this defensive lineman sees that and says, hey, I'm going to jump inside because he's not coming with good technique, and then just beats him, gets vertical, and now this is not a good place for a running back to go. You got nothing outside, you got nothing in the middle, and you got nothing backside, and it results in a big TFL for this Wisconsin defense. All right, now let's talk about the right side here. Tegra and Daniels blocking down. This is kind of a combo block right here. And this has been a kind of a big problem here for Tegra as I've watched this tape, is he's going to try to block this guy, but his head, his eyes are down, and his hands are nowhere to be found, really. They're just completely down. So everything is basically down, and he needs to bring that all up into this defensive lineman, so just completely misses him because his eyes are down. Daniels is kind of really late to get into this thing, and then this is full-on penetration here, and the running back has nowhere to go. This is third down. This is a big moment for this offensive line, and the fundamentals is once again the issue where he needs to be right now. These hands need to be coming up and striking him, and like I said, get those eyes a little bit more up, but he's able to get so much penetration, and I'd like Daniels to get into this a little bit more, but it's also, he was kind of hung out to dry. This is just a bad combo block by the right side of this Ohio State offensive line. All right, lastly, this is the last one, and everybody kind of gets there's a lot of people in the backfield, and this is supposed to be an RPO, and hey, once again, you guys see it from earlier, a ton of space. Guess what our boy Sayin's going to do? He's going to go ahead and throw this thing. But I want you to specifically watch Padilla here at right guard. He was switching in and out a little bit with Tegra, but just eyes are completely down. He's going to block this 4-eye and just gets swam inside. So if Sayin was to give this off, this would have gotten beat really, really bad. And then also out here, Saraveld gets beat. So there was really nothing for this run game. There was a lot of times the RPO and Sayin deciding to pull this thing actually saved the run game from looking even worse than it did. But these are kind of the places that this Penn State defense needs to attack Ohio State.